Before we start, subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you want clear sports science without recovery hype. Today we are looking at red light therapy in the World Cup recovery conversation. The current hook is a June 2026 men's health feature on hydration, sleep, heat, and recovery for the 2026 World Cup, and we will compare that hype with recent peer-reviewed work on photobiomodulation in lasers in medical science, sports health, and the International Journal of Exercise Science. The question is simple: when a recovery room glows red, is that science, or just theater? The short answer is, red light therapy may help in some protocols, for some outcomes, in some athletes. But it is not a universal shortcut. This topic is trending because the 2026 World Cup creates a perfect recovery problem. More heat, more travel, more match congestion, more pressure to keep players fresh. So, naturally, teams and athletes look at every possible recovery tool: hydration, sleep, cooling, wearables, nutrition, compression, and now, red light therapy. But this is where we need to be careful. A tool can be popular in elite sport and still have limited evidence for broad use. Elite environments often test many things at once. That does not mean every tool is the reason athletes recover better. The scientific term here is photobiomodulation, or PBMT. And PBMT is not just sitting in front of a red lamp. In research, the protocol matters: wavelength, dose, power, exposure time, muscle group, timing before or after exercise, and the outcome being measured. If you change the protocol, you may change the result. This is why consumer claims can be misleading. A recovery studio may advertise red light therapy, but that does not automatically mean the device, dose, and timing match the protocols studied in sports science. So what does the evidence actually support? The most fair reading is this: possible benefit, under selected conditions. Some studies suggest PBMT can reduce perceived fatigue, improve some repeated effort outcomes, or reduce muscle damage markers like creatine kinase. But the evidence is not equally strong for every outcome. For example, in ball sport studies, some fatigue and creatine kinase signals look promising. But maximum force or strength outcomes do not clearly improve in the same universal way. So we should not say, PBMT works, as a blanket statement. The better statement is, PBMT may help when the protocol, athlete, sport, and target outcome match. This is where the hype gets ahead of the science. Marketing often says, red light speeds recovery, boosts performance, and if elite teams use it, it must work. But the evidence reality is more cautious. Recovery effects depend on protocol. Performance effects are mixed, and use by elite teams is not proof of effectiveness. That last point is important. Elite teams have more resources, more monitoring, and more individualized decision-making. They may use a tool because it is worth testing, not because it is already proven to be essential. A glowing recovery room looks impressive, but a glowing recovery room is not a clinical trial. The running evidence is a good reality check. If PBMT were a reliable performance booster, we would expect clearer results in outcomes like time trial performance or time to exhaustion. But current running-focused evidence does not clearly show that PBMT makes endurance athletes faster. This does not mean PBMT is useless. It means we should separate recovery markers from actual performance outcomes. Feeling better, reducing soreness, or changing a blood marker is not the same as running faster, sprinting repeatedly at a higher level, or performing better in a match. For coaches, that distinction matters. This is the practical hierarchy. Before PBMT, fix the foundation: sleep, fueling, hydration, cooling when needed, load management. These are not glamorous, but they are the recovery basics that carry the biggest weight. If an athlete sleeps poorly, undereats, trains too hard, travels badly, and fails to manage heat stress, red light therapy is not the first solution. PBMT belongs at the top of the pyramid as an optional adjunct, not at the base as a foundation. In other words, do not polish the roof while the foundation is broken. Here is the coach-friendly verdict. PBMT is optional, measured, and individualized. If you use it, know the protocol. What wavelength, what dose, what timing, which muscle group, which outcome. Then track the athlete's response over weeks, not just after one impressive-looking session. And most importantly, do not let PBMT replace the basics. Sleep, fuel, hydration, cooling, and load management still come first. So the final message is simple: use science, not the glow. If this helped you separate recovery evidence from recovery marketing, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and send this video to a coach or athlete who is thinking about red light therapy.